Hey guys, Doc from the Gold Hog, and today I'm going to teach you how to take your concentrates down to pure gold in less than 30 minutes. So stay tuned. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to take your concentrates from your equipment, take it down to pure gold in maybe about 30 minutes. Real quick, real lazy process, but it's a great thing to do in the summertime when what you should be doing is actually be outside mining and prospecting and not sitting inside spending hours and hours cleaning concentrates to get your gold out. So I gotta be honest, I started making this video the other day and I said, you know what? I'm gonna change this up a little bit. I'm gonna do a little bit different of video and I'm gonna teach people what we do. I'm gonna share what I call our lazy cleaning method, which is really fast, which is what we do in the summertime. Let's face it, it's nice outside, it's beautiful. It's time to be outside prospecting. It's time to be outside mining. It's not the time to be spending hours and hours inside a garage or inside a cleanup center working on cleanups. And so I'm going to show you how we do our cleanups in the summertime, which is very effective, very fast, and only takes us about 30 minutes or so to go from concentrates down to pure gold. And I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So what do you need for this process? Well, you got your concentrates. You're going to need a couple classifiers. I use either a 1/4 inch or 1/8, and then I go down to about a 20 mesh. You need a couple of gold pans. You'll need a snuffer bottle, and I actually use one of we sell these stainless steel gold trays on our website. I forget, they're either $16 or something like that, $16 or $19, but it's a real nice stainless steel gold tray that I use for drying out my concentrates. I actually use it for weighing it too sometimes on larger gold. And of course, unfortunately, what you may not have is you may not have a Mutli Sluice. But today I'm going to show us using the Mutli Sluice in a little bit different way. Okay, for those of you that don't know, real quickly, I'm not going to go into the Mutli Sluice, but the Mutli Sluice was designed to be a very effective, very fast cleanup system. It's a 2 or 3 step process. It comes with different mats in it. It comes with an aggressive mat number 1, then it comes with a stripping mat number 2. And you change the GPH, you change the pitch, and you do a couple different things, and it just run. It's very fast and very effective. But today, I'm going to show you a trick. So if you have a Mutli Sluice, this is a good little trick to learn. Today, I'm not going to use the number 1 mat, because what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to use the washer mat, or our stripping mat. I'm going to use the washer mat, and I'm going to insert the plug, and I'm going to reduce it down to about 800 GPH. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 runs. I'm going to do number 1 run is going to be at an extreme pitch. It's going to be at 15 degrees. And I'm going to run 1/8 material, 15 degrees, and I'm going to run it through real quick. That'll take me 5 minutes to do that. Then I'm going to take the tailings. I'm going to take all my concentrates again, and I'm going to classify them down to 20 mesh. I'm going to take that 20 mesh material. I'm going to drop my pitch down to about 12, right around 12 degrees or so, and I'm going to run that material again. If I have maybe a gallon, 2 gallons of concentrates, another 5 minutes to run that. What that's going to do though, is that's going to leave me with a very, very manageable amount of material to put into my gold pan. When you super concentrate concentrates, what usually ends up happening is you end up having 2 or 3 cups of material, and it's this black muck. And you have to go tablespoon by tablespoon into some form of final cleanup. In other words, you have to take a tablespoon of that, put it into a pan it. Or you have to go to a spiral wheel, or you have to go to a bowl system, or you have to go to a water table system, and then you have to classify. You have to go through multiple classifying steps. Look, that just takes hours and hours, and that's not what we want to do. Again, we want to go from concentrates down to pure gold in about 30 minutes. So I'm going to do this two-step process, and at the end of this two-step process, because I'm doing 2 runs, I'm going to have one pan that has 2 tablespoons of material, and on my second run, a pan that has maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of material. That's very, very manageable. And I'm going to show you how I run it, show you how I do it, how I get down to pure gold. Now, after I do that, I'm going to show you finish panning. So I'm going to show you how I finish pan it, and then I'll dry out the gold and we'll actually weigh the gold. Now this gold, the material, the concentrates that we got are from SuperHog Run that we did running our big SuperHog. The pay was okay, it wasn't anything great. I think we ran about 4 yards of material through this thing, several hundred buckets through it. And so you'll be able to see the gold that we got out of that. But today I'm going to skip the number 1 mat, and I'm going to do what I call a summer cleanup, which is I just want my gold out. I don't care if I don't get 100%. I don't want to spend hours and hours out here. It's good weather, it's beautiful outside, so I want to be out prospecting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the Mutli Sluice up. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up at an extreme 15-degree pitch. I do have my reducer plug inside of it. I'm going to set it up at a 15-degree pitch, 1/8 of an inch classification, run everything through it real quick. 98% of my gold out of my concentrates done in minutes. So let me show you. I figure I'd just go ahead and shoot it. All right, so maybe you can see this. This is the total, this is the plus 1/8. I already classified these concentrates, so everything that's above 1/8 that is in this pan. So that's the total amount. So I went from 4 yards of material. That's everything, this is everything that came out of the mats. So that's all of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it through my Mutli Sluice. Again, I'm going to do an extreme processing with this. Today, I'm not doing it the right way. I'm going to run this at a 15-degree pitch, scream it through here, have almost nothing but bare gold in here. Then I'm going to reclassify it and catch all that in here. I'm going to reclassify it, drop this back down to about 12 degrees, run it through again, and I'll end up with about 3 or 4 tablespoons. So again, I went from 4 yards of material down to about a gallon. Within minutes, I'm going to take it down to 2 tablespoons, run it through again, 3 tablespoons. That's it, I'm done. And then I'll take this header box off real quick. And show you what I got. So this isn't going to be a huge cleanup, but what you can see is my goal is to have pure gold up here. That's what I want to see. Pure gold here, pure gold here, pure gold here. And then I'll have a little bit of gold down in here, but I'll start to see black sand. Now on this water speed, I should have very little black sand, which I do. I have very little black sand in here. And then I'm going to classify it and run it one more time. But I'll throw this into a pan. And there you go. That's just tapping down this mat here. So what I've done now is I've taken my tailings that I ran through the first time and I've classified them down to 20 mesh. I went from almost 15, about 14.5 degrees on the pitch. Now I'm down to 11.5 on the pitch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rerun those again and put those in a pan. And you'll be able to see again, I'll have probably 96 to 99% of my gold out just by doing that 5-minute run, 5-minute run, and have my gold out and having almost nothing as far as concentrates. Okay, so here's the second run. And you can see pretty much barely any gold in these mats this time. So let's pan it out, but you can see the fine black sand starting to show up now. And that's what I want to see. Having a little bit of that fine black sand tells me that I should have gold the same size below that. A little bit. All right, second run of the Mutli Sluice, classified down to 20 mesh, run through at a different pitch. Again, that's about 2 tablespoons of material. So I've taken 4 tons down to about a gallon. 2 runs, I have 1 pan with 2 tablespoons, another pan with 2 tablespoons. Let's go pan this out. Okay, so here's the gold from run number 2. You can see all the super fine black sand in here. I mean super fine stuff. And then up here is the gold from run number 2. Pretty much the same no matter when we do it. Hey guys, so I've done both of those runs on the Mutli Sluice, one at the 15, one at the 11, 2 classification levels, just using that one mat. And I'm going through and I'm panning my tailings now, and you can see, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. But I mean, there's just nothing in there, gold-wise. I mean, I'm really not finding any gold. So, you know, is it 100%? No, it's about 90, probably 99%. Got 99% of my gold out. But the key point I want to get across here is cleaning your concentrates quickly. You know, this is the mining season. We don't need to be spending. A lot of people don't understand that ops spend, I mean, a commercial op can spend a full day or 2 days processing their concentrates. And if you're mining, you're a prospector, you want to get done with it quickly. This is a great way to really, really quickly get the gold out of your concentrates. One classification, run it. Another classification, run it. You got maybe 30 minutes and you got almost all your gold out of your cons. This is a great little tip. Okay guys, so I've got my material in a pan right now. And this is an important part. And what I want you to see is how much water I have around this pan. So in this pan, if you look at this, I have about 3/4 of an inch is where I like to be. So from the black out to the water edge, I'm going to have about 3/4 of an inch. Now this might be a little bit too much water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the inertia of gold. In other words, I always talk about a pickup truck. Slam on your brakes, boom, all the heavy buckets go to the back of your truck. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to use that same theory. So what we're going to do, and this is the way I kind of describe it when I'm teaching this, is we're going to get everything moving down the highway. So I've got all this material moving down the highway. You can see what I'm doing here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something solid here. This hand is not going to move. This hand is going to lock into my body and stay still. You got that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it moving, everything is sloshing around, and then what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to let it hit my hand here. So you can see how that action is working. The pan is moving, my hand is not. And what you're going to start to see is down in this corner over here is you're going to start to see gold. So right down here, you're going to start to see gold. This is the bed of my pickup. This is the back of my truck. Driving down the highway, boom. Driving down the highway, boom. So you understand that. So the heaviest stuff, the heaviest buckets in the back of my truck are slamming up against the cap of my truck. That's what's going to happen here. And you can see what happens when I do this. Now what I do is I sort of tilt my pan away from this. I tilt my pan away from the yellow. And I want to sort of flatten up my tilt to take the tilt out of my pan. So again, let me show you one more time. Let's get this all mixed up in here. Show you one more time. So I'm getting it moving down the highway, moving down the highway, and then boom, 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 tap, and letting it tap my hand, And then guess what shows up? All that gold is down here on the very far corner. So now what I like to do is I just take it and I spread my material. Spread my material. This black sand is going to get in my way because what I want to do is I want to create green space. This is going to be kind of hard to shoot because I got to get my hand in the way, so I got to figure out how to shoot this best. Alright, so I think we'll be able to see this now. So what I've done, here again, let me show you this one more time from this angle. So again, tap, 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 tap. You can see the gold. The gold is down here in this corner. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some space. I'm just going to shake it like that. So I just give it a little shake and let everything spread out just a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, now I've got this space over here, so now I'm going to turn my pan a little bit, put water over it, water has to be over it, and I'm going to tap it. And watch what happens to the gold. You can see the gold forming that line now. Again, I'm going to make some green space. And now you can see I'm isolating this gold over here. So again, I'm going to tap. And you can see what happens. My gold goes up into this corner. I can pull a piece of lead out. Pull a piece of lead out. Pull the lead out. I always just toss my lead. And once I get it back here in this line, I like to sort of cheat and sort of drag some of it over this way. Then I'm going to spread it again. Maybe wash some material over it. And there we go. And now you can see, hopefully, that I've got pretty clean material here. But now I've got it all isolated up in this corner. Now it's all isolated up in this corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let me get that piece of lead out of there. Pull that out, toss it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my snuffer bottle, put water over it. Snuff up that line. Maybe even tap it some. Get some more of that gold up in that corner. Basically what I'm doing is I'm sucking that back line out. So let's do this one more time. Tap, tap. Same thing will happen. Same thing is going to happen. Same thing is going to happen. And there it is. You can see it. So you can see that. See how that gold isolates over in this corner. So the same thing I'm going to do now. So I'm going to tap it. I'm going to get it all up in that corner. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to make some green space. See what I did? I made green space back here. I made space for the gold. Again, if I see any lead, I can pull lead out, because lead will mess you up. And now I've isolated again. I've isolated that gold up in that corner. So I get my snuffer bottle. Take it out. And again, I keep doing this and doing this. I probably only have to do this a couple of times, probably about 3 or 4 times. And I'll have almost all my gold out. Just keep tapping and 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 tapping. Again, see a little gold up in the corner. Take it out. And I'll get to the point that I'm really clean as far as gold content in here. And you can see that I'm almost down to pure black sand here. A couple pieces of gold, I just have to work a little bit more. But look at that. That's just all black sand in here. It's all black sand. There's no gold up in here. So now let's take it over to the tray and let's dry it out. It's not going to be 100% clean because normally what I do, so I've got most of my gold out in here now. Normally what I do is I put this in a pan and do that one more time and do a cleaning session on it one more time before I put it to the gold tray. But let's just put it straight in the gold tray and we'll see how much black sand is in there and we'll dry it out real quick. Okay guys, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snuffer bottle, put my finger over it, shake it, turn it upside down, put it into the tray. Put a pan under it, just like that. So now I've got all the contents of the snuffer bottle into my little stainless steel gold tray. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the water out very slowly. And what I have left is pretty much gold in there. Now I'm going to take this over to the stove top and I'm going to heat it on the stove. Get off any water off the bottom and let's put it on the stove. Okay, how you doing? You can see my reflection. So I'm going to turn the stove top on high. I'm going to turn this burner on high. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this vent fan on too. If there's any mercury, we want any contaminants, we want it. This is an exterior drafting unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this. I've got gold from here down, so that's what I'm going to set it on the burner. And I'm going to let you watch what happens for a minute. You can see it starting to smoke, and that smoke is going to go down here onto the vent. All this smoke is drafting out down this vent down here. This side of the tray is going to stay fairly cool. It's going to be warm, but it's not going to be burning hot like this end is down here. If you have a big pile of gold in here, then you're going to need to do this a little bit slower and you're going to need to stir it some, otherwise it'll pop. It'll pop and you'll have gold go everywhere. So I've got that pretty hot. I'm going to take it off. You can see I'm holding this end of it, and this end is scorching hot. But I can still hold on to this end of it. And what I like to do is now, I want to dry this end off, so I'm going to leave this end on it for a second or two. Just until that water evaporates. And then using a paper towel, because this end is still going to be hot, I move it off the stove. Shut that off. And now I've got my gold. So I've got it with a paper towel and now I've got the gold in there. It's going to be hot. Make sure that nobody comes into the kitchen. If you're doing this in the kitchen, make sure no one's around. Let this sit and let it cool for probably a good 10 minutes. It's going to be warm to the touch for a while. But I just let it sit there and cool off. And I'll grab my scale and we'll weigh this and see how much is in it. Alright guys, let's see if I can shoot this and do this without spilling it everywhere. Alright, so let's turn my scale on. Now this was from, I don't know, was it close to 4 yards of material that we ran. And wasn't very good pay. So I'm set up on grams. Let's leave it on grams for a minute and let me pour this into it. So from my stainless steel tray, I'm going to pour it in. This is not going to be like a gold rush pour. It won't take long at all. So let's go ahead and let's just tap her in there and pour it in. And I spilled a little on the side here, but you can see there that's 1.45 grams. That's pretty good. I'm actually pleased with that. There's probably a little bit of impurities in here on that 1.45, so it might be 1.3. But just over a gram, that's a quarter of a gram. That's a quarter of a gram a yard. That's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. For this area, I'm not unhappy with that at all. Anyways, guys, this is Doc, the Gold Hog. I hope this little tip helped you as far as cleaning from concentrates all the way down to pure gold. You can find the Mutli Sluice. There's a link to multisluice.com on our website, goldhog.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Shoot us an email. Thanks, and we'll catch you later.